and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. Today we are making this Thinking of You card. We're using a few dies and several different stamp sets. We have the greeting, the Thinking of You from the Happy Thoughts stamp set. We are using the background block or background stamp from the Hydrangea Haven set. So that is how we did the background. And we are using the leaf dies from the Forever Fern bundle, which is the Forever Flourishing dies. So I keep my dies with the stamp set for the most part. So that's what we're using today. We're using the greeting from Happy Thoughts, the background stamp from Hydrangea Haven, and the die from the Flourishing Ferns. So we will need a Mossy Meadow card base, a 5 1/4 by 4 Very Vanilla to go inside the card. We will need a 5 1/4 by 4 Very Vanilla to do the stamping on the front of the card. We'll need a scrap of Very Vanilla for the greeting, plus a scrap of Night of Navy for the matting. And we're going to need a piece of Mossy Meadow large enough to fit the die. So let's get started. The colors again are Night of Navy, Mossy Meadow, and the basic gray to do the front of the card. I'm just going to move things out of the way so I've got some room to work. For the most part, I did this like a brick wall offsetting, and then I didn't offset the top two there. So this one, I'm going to try to remember to do the offsetting. So what it means is going back and forth and cleaning your stamps a lot, because I didn't grid it out or anything so that I knew where the next one was going. I just kept going, which meant I was cleaning my stamp in between a lot. So I'm just going to have my scrub pad just off to the side. So let's start with the Night of Navy. Now this has got a bit of a rough edge on it, and I don't want that in the card, so I'm just going to smooth it out with the bone folder, make sure I've got no rough edges that will create a little bit of a gap in the stamped image. So you can do this whichever way up you like. I did it this way up. Again, totally your call. And on the sample card, I've got a bit of a gap at the bottom, and I don't want that on this card, so I'm going to stamp off the edge just like that. So that is the first stamp. If you like, you can use a wet wipe so that you don't just continually ink up your scrub pad. So I'm just going to get most of the excessive ink off and then dry it. And I'm going to close the ink pad each time because I don't want to get the wrong ink pad going on. So bear with me. There's going to be a lot of opening and closing and cleaning the brush or cleaning the stamp. So this one I'm just going to come off the side with. And then I'm going to clean it. And then I'm going to use the basic gray. You can see the concept of what I'm doing once I've got a couple lines going. If you want to fast forward through to where I'm actually building the card, I get it. But yeah, I was staring at my stamp sets last night, looking at them all on the shelf, thinking, what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do next, kind of thing. So I was just looking at them, and I thought, you know what? That looks like a brick. When I was looking at the images on the side of my, or on the spine of the stamp sets, I thought it looked a lot like a brick. So I thought, well, what if I do a brick wall? And of course, again, you can do this in any color you like, any color at all. You could do it in a fun kid one with maybe some melon mambo and granny apple green, things like that. A nice bright card. One of the challenges I have is creating masculine cards. I don't I don't have a particular gift for masculine cards. I love the florals. Love, love, love floral cards. So I tend to go that way a lot. And interestingly enough, the floral cards I do tend to get more likes than the other cards that I do. So that just keeps sending me in that direction. I'm going to do another kind of half brick here in the Night of Navy. It might be easier if you add a fourth color in to make sure that you've got, you know, options in between. But you just kind of build as you go. And like I say, on the other one, there was a whole row I didn't, you know, brick wall. I just stacked them. And you could stack them as well. Really, there is no right or wrong when you're making something. It's your idea. It's your plan. You can see I've gone off plan here because I needed to do a full solid one there. So we are actually going to be stacking one here as well. So I'm going to come in with the green, and I'm going to just offset that a little bit, and then we'll clean the stamp set. And if you really don't like the design that you've done, you start again. Paper has two sides. You just see which one do I need next. I'm going to do Night of Navy here as well because I really have kind of gibbled up the plan, but it's still going to look just lovely. I'm going to come in with a basic gray on this side here, like this, and then clean that off. And I am going to come in with another Mossy Meadow here, I think. So there'll be Mossy Meadow stacked one on top of the other, but that is okay. The other thing is, too, if there's an area that you think, oh, that's not quite right, that's where the greeting goes. It's that simple. This is not rocket science. You're not going to pass or fail. You just do what you like to do. So I'm going to top this one up with Night of Navy across the top, like that. And then clean that off. And my hands are completely gucky, so that's something to keep in mind as well before you go pick up a fresh, clean piece of paper, to actually make sure your hands are clean. You're not going to be transferring ink around. I am famous for transferring ink. So I'm going to pull out the basic gray one more time and just finish that one corner off. My youngest came downstairs and said this looks like camouflage. So yeah, he's a little bit right. If you used maybe some browns and some different shades of green, it would be more traditionally camouflagey, but yeah, it does look a little camouflage. So I'm going to pull out the Night of Navy, and I'm going to do the greeting. So I'm just going to stamp that down, clean that off, and then we're going to run lots of stuff through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss. So I'll pull that in. We can cut the greeting and the background out at the same time. So I'm just going to clean off my hand so that I don't transfer that ink. Okay. So I need my dies, and I will set this up. And what have I done with my top plate? There it is, right there. Okay. So we'll lay this down. These go through at an angle, of course, so that we don't jam a straight edge up against the cutting blade or the roller inside the machine. So we will offset these, put this in here, then we'll grab our cover plate. There we go, making sure everything is still lined up, and it is, even though I've wiggled that, it is still lined up. Good. We'll run this through and then we'll cut out the leaves and we can go ahead and build the card. And this is where you can decide where you're going to put your leaves, where you're going to put your greetings, so that if there are any little blips that you are, unhappy with, this is where you can make them go away. So let's just get these out of their things. And the rectangle stitch dies do tend to grab hold of the paper really well. So you just need to kind of run your thumbnail across or your fingernail across and just gently pull it out so that you don't pull the corner off. Okay, so we're done with the dies. We need to cut out the greenery. So let's fit this in here. I know that when I was setting this up, I absolutely had it in a place where I could fit everything. There we go. I'm going to sandwich that up and we will run this through and then we can build our card. If you're doing this for a little girl, you could do a solid floral background, or you could maybe do some balloons to put behind the greeting. There's all kinds of options, and I'm just showing you one potential way to use this way to do this card. I'm just going to get the extra bits out and then we will go ahead. So what I'm going to do to start with is I'm going to adhere. Actually, I'm not going to adhere because I need to know which way up I'm doing it. So if I put this here, it really hides the fact that I've got two green ones right next to each other, and that I have stacked them instead of offsetting them. So I'm just going to attach the greeting to the mat for the greeting. Just going to line that up and drop it down. So you can start to see, how do you want this? So even though I chose the bricks to go the other way, I might at this point want them to go this way. I think I kind of like it the other way because then I'm not getting a blank edge of brick. So all I did with this one is I just put some adhesive on the back of the leaves a little bit, and then I put it down on the card like that, and then I dimensionalized the greeting. So I'm just going to pop some dimensionals on the back here, and I need to just trim one more out. There we go. So, just like that. There we go. And now we can put the greeting on over the bottom of the stem of the leaves. And you just kind of center that. And drop it down. There we go. And we're going to put adhesive on the card front. You can put it on the back of the card front, or you can put it on the card base. Sometimes if you've already dimensionalized, it's easier to put it on the card base. And I'm just going to do this and drop. And there we go. There is a really cute Thinking of You card using the dies from Stitched Rectangle and Flourishing Fern, using the background stamp from Hydrangea Haven, and using the greeting from the Happy Thoughts stamp set. So thank you very much for watching. If there is anything you'd like to purchase, please use the links below, and we will see you next time. Take care.